What's up, guys? Brian Phobos here. Hope you guys are doing well. Today, this has been a really stressful day. The market broke open, obviously, to the downside, and we had Bakkt futures launched yesterday, which was kind of a dismal performance as far as volumes and stuff like that. It was something that I kind of feared, and I was myself tossing back and forth kind of what to do because I had a feeling that we were going to break to the downside. But again, you don't want to end up in a situation where you end up with maybe less Bitcoins or less, of a certain altcoin that you had previously. And I was going back and forth whether I should try to do a short-term trade and risk it. And I literally went to do it last night. I could not bring myself to do it. I was going to risk one Bitcoin. And then this morning, I sat there and I was doing this again, where I was going back and forth. But then ultimately, I did go and peg to basically TrueUSD, and it's right here. So, it dropped a little bit. It was 9,547. TrueUSD is what I got, for one Bitcoin. If you don't believe me, think I'm kind of making stuff up here. I usually don't show this kind of stuff, and I don't typically do a lot of trades. But you see these TrueUSD orders, 951, 1019, 1027, and we're talking September 24th of 2019. I don't really do that many trades, guys. So yeah, that happened, and then I was in mental anguish, being like, I could be waiting a while for this kind of to play out and all that, and then we, broke to the downside. Now, I'm kind of, and I was looking for 8,200. In my mind, I was like, okay, once we hit 8,200, then don't get too greedy. Go ahead, it's about 0.15 Bitcoin increase over, that one Bitcoin, 0.15 Bitcoin, that's a good thing. Go ahead and move that 0.15 to other alts, or go ahead and keep it in Bitcoin. And now we're kind of getting some of these green candles here popping around. But I'm not really sure what's going to happen. We could break down clear to 6,000. Who knows? And again, I would be lying if I said I knew. And I would be lying if I said I wasn't stressed out, even seeing this pop up, 8,700. At this time, it's seeing this green candle. It's very nerve-wracking. I've probably drank too much caffeine. And I was in mental anguish, and then we had this huge red candle that busted down. And then, so, I don't know. But let's look at the Bakkt futures and stuff like that. And to tell you the truth, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I really don't think a lot of people understand how Bakkt futures work, and as many articles as I've read and try to understand it myself, there's still question marks in my own mind. Now, if you see this, the last contract went 8,272, which is lower than what the actual coins are trading for on Coinbase, which is interesting. So now this is all monthly futures. So this is just a contract saying, well, it's going to be there, I'm assuming at the end of the month is the way I understand it. 161 Bitcoins for today. But obviously that pales into comparison. If you look at the trade volume, 31,387 Bitcoins in a 24-hour period of time. The amount of volume that's happening on the cryptocurrency exchanges is way more. Now, I think that the Bakkt futures contracts and everything that's going on there, I think it is going to play an important part in the future of maybe getting an ETF and that kind of stuff, and kind of, I don't know, legitimizing maybe price points or something like that. I really can't say for sure, but, myself, yes, I am bullish on Bitcoin in the long term and all that. But it is not, it's in my top 5. But if you guys have been watching my videos for a while, I am stronger in the altcoins. I actually think that there's more of a future in the altcoins. And maybe if this is any kind of indicator to you, if Bitcoin is kind of compromised by other types of money sources, and more, what should I say, like more institutional investment, then maybe it kind of shows you that some of the other investments might be a better bet, whether it be Litecoin, Monero, whatever your favorite coin is. And again, I'm getting really nervous because I just keep seeing this like pop up. I'll see where this candle goes to. But I was thinking, 8,200, and it did wick down to that, did wick down below that, and I didn't really take action to go ahead and secure that little gain that I had. I don't know if this is going to be temporary, if we're going to keep breaking down until we get down to 7,500 or we get down to 6,000. Anybody that says that they know where we're going, whether it's 8,000 or if it's 7,500 or if it's 7,000 or 6,500, there's really no telling, guys. We don't know. Nobody knows. Now, what we do know is, okay, this broke down. There's a lot of eyes on Bitcoin. There's a lot of eyes, whether it's big money or whether it's retail investors. There's a lot of people with buy orders out there. I mean, we're not seeing like a huge buy wall. We're seeing a lot of activity here, but I would say look for opportunities. Now, you might feel like you're sick of looking for opportunities and you've been seeing these price implosions over and over again. EOS is just getting destroyed. It's down almost 28%. Bitcoin SV, which is something that I don't want to have anything to do with, it's down 35%. It has fallen off a cliff. Obviously, everything is falling off, but some stuff is falling off worse than others. Tron over 20%. Ethereum Classic 22%. And then you kind of notice, so Zcash is getting destroyed as well, $32. I'm actually might going to allocate some of the kind of leftover beyond that one Bitcoin to Zcash. This is way, below even like where my cost basis was of buying, back in December. And I did a previous video on that. So the company behind Zcash, they do, take part of the block reward or whatever each month to pay for development and stuff like that. But even if you look back here, like in December, come on, this thing's slow, like $58. And then now we're sitting there at like $32. So I might try to increase my position there. Has definitely fallen way below. Way below. There's some others too, but also I've thought about, invoking the Doge as one of the subscribers had said previously. So if you look at Doge, come on, it's just so slow. Come on. So a lot of times it'll trade for 23 Satoshis. That's the main thing. It'll get down to 23 Satoshis or so. Right there's like 33 Satoshis. And then right before the 2017, boom, 17 Satoshis. It went up, then it went back down 17 Satoshis. It never really got down. 38 Satoshis, 40 Satoshis. And then right now, we're like at 26 Satoshis. So a lot of times, if you notice this pattern, it's going down, and then, in comparison to Bitcoin, it's shooting up, and it'll go down, it'll shoot up compared to Bitcoin, and it seems to continue to do that. So I would not be surprised, and some of you guys might think Doge is a joke, but I don't know. You tell me. Is $49 million in 24-hour volume, is that a joke? Yeah. So as much as a joke as you might think it is, it has retained a decent position on CoinMarketCap, 28th position, and has held up a lot better than a lot of other coins during this bear market. So I might be looking to invoke the Doge. And then another one too, Digibyte is in a very kind of similar-ish kind of situation. And if you notice on today, like Doge and Digibyte are actually holding up a lot better than a lot of other projects. And especially like projects that maybe have an entity that maybe owns a lot of coins, or see, Digibyte's actually doing better than Bitcoin. It's actually falling less than Bitcoin today, which is interesting. But look at its Satoshi value, like 78 Satoshi, 82 Satoshis. If you go back here, 146 Satoshis. Say, let's go back further, 21 Satoshis. 21 Satoshis versus, come on. 82 Satoshis. So, I mean, and who knows where it's going to go and stuff like that. But really, when it boils down to it, I believe that some of this stuff is undervalued based on the fact that, it is the people's money. So it's very decentralized, just the way the mining algorithm is. And the fact that, there was no ICO, there's none of that. So, and I can do a more in-depth video on Digibyte in the future and stuff like that. I've talked about it before. Some of you might not be interested in that. Maybe you want to stick in the top 20. But let's, just look what's in the top 20. You've got some options here. Litecoin, one of the things that I just mentally in my head was saying previously, because the tide had been going out on Litecoin after the halving and all that. And in my head, I was like, I don't think that it'll get under $50 a coin. I just think at that point, buyers would come back in, they'd swoop back in. But who knows? It could go below 50. In my mind, I just, I ended up riding it out. And I knew that probably today, if the tide went out, so I thought, should I transfer some of my alts and do the same thing like I did to that one Bitcoin? And I just was like, at this time, I'm just willing to risk the one Bitcoin to try to increase a Bitcoin position, or increase, keep one Bitcoin, and then also on top of that, like actually stack some more alts. And again, we're kind of in that position. 1.13, let's see where we're at. It probably went down, like just according to the calculation. 1.14. I mean, it'd be nice to get that 0.15 extra Bitcoin for this trade, and guys, like I said, I don't trade a lot. I just had a feeling, and like the other night when Bakkt launched, like at 8 p.m., I was just looking at it and the volumes were coming in real light. I was just like, I don't know. And then it was like, well, let's see what happens in London, because the London stuff started at like 1 a.m. New York time kind of thing. And then it was like, well, and again, I was wishy-washy, because I'm like, I don't like to kind of take some of these coins that are sort of like cold storage. I don't really have a coin. I don't do a lot of day trading. That's not my game. You guys have seen me over time where I mainly just try to stack coins and keep long-term positions, and then wait for the parabolic move, and then that's when I'll peel off and sell stuff. So what I'm looking for here, and again, I don't know how low it's going to go. See, we ended up, it looks like we got another red candle. That one turned from like green to red. Maybe the bears are kind of still winning here, but man, if we get back down to, let's say, like 8,000, I don't want to get too greedy. If it goes down to 8,200 again, I think I'm just going to take that, invoke the Doge, maybe get some Zcash, stack some other stuff. Probably not going to stack any more EOS, honestly, at this time, just because I am so like heavy in EOS right now, just on my overall portfolio and stuff. And I don't know the exact percentage, but I feel like I'll chill there. Now, if it went under 2, then okay, I'll probably be going for more EOS. But for right now, I'm going to do Doge, Digibyte, maybe keep a little bit of extra like Bitcoin, just a tiny bit, maybe 0.05 or something like that. Well, like 0.01 maybe. Well, no, 0.0, yeah, maybe 0.05. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, it would be great for me just in this, just because of the time frame on this, that if it just broke down, I did my trade, and then everything came back. Then when everybody gets back from work and stuff like that, it won't be so bad for everybody who just tried to hodl and maintain their position. But again, guys, this is very, very stressful. I'm not really saying that you should do what I did here. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. But one of the things that I did, and again, I don't draw these lines. I don't look at RSD. I don't look at the MACD or the RSI. Sorry, somebody's gonna say you don't know anything. Well, I know enough to profit here. So, but if you look at the volumes, and let's just look at the thing on a macro level. If you look at the volumes, a lot of times what you see is when things go parabolic, the volumes go up down here, and then the volumes go down and the volumes plane out. And the volumes get low when the price is low. Then the volumes come back up and the price is going up. And if you look at from the peak and then you look at the volumes, we're going down. So in my mind, it was like, this is just too, like the decreasing volumes were kind of a telltale sign. Now you might say, hey, there's a ton of fake volume on these exchanges. They're trying to clean it up over time, so we're getting a more realistic view of the volumes, and that's part of the reason it came down. Maybe some of that's true, but just from a macro level, just looking at it, I feel like that the hype from Bakkt was priced in here, and then we were going to have one more last capitulation move before people really kind of hold tight towards the halvening, because we're still about 200 days from the halvening, and 6 months is an eternity in crypto. So just remember that if this goes down real quick and we're down for a week, and then people have their eyes on this, whether it's retail investors or it's institutional investments or endowments or these types of things, there's only so many Bitcoins, and people are going to want to stack those towards the halvening. And I think we will have potentially an all-time high leading up, maybe a month or 2 weeks before the halvening. And maybe we get a pullback or something. But then at that point, people aren't going to want to sell out of their positions completely, heading into 2021 as well, because then that kind of completes the 4-year cycle in 2021. So we'll see what happens, guys. Let me know what you guys are doing. If you did any trades or you're just holding tight, don't feel too bad. A lot of people are getting beat up. I mean, I'm sure I lost a ton of value, obviously, in my alt positions, and I'm not tripping out too bad. But you do maybe have a chance to pick up the 32 Ethereum if you're excited about Ethereum 2.0 and proof of stake being implemented eventually, which is the plan there. You could maybe stack more there. Maybe if you didn't get in before the halving with Litecoin, you can stack some more Litecoins. For EOS, Voice, EOS 1.8 just launched, or the hard fork was rolled out and stuff like that, which will kind of pave the way for Voice and other dApps in the future. And so maybe look for opportunities if you can. But let me know what you guys are doing. What are your feelings? How low are we going to go? Leave a comment below and follow me on all social media at Brian Phobos, YouTube, Instagram, Steemit, Twitter. See you guys later.